Breaking news. Amazon is going to compete against Temu with a low cost option of goods that are unbranded and shipped from China. So instead of the 1 or 2 day Prime, they're going to offer you the same thing that Temu offers you, which are cheap, unbranded, mostly just Chinese generic goods, clothing, cheap products that ship in 8 to 11 days. And their goal here is to compete 100% against Temu, who is taking market share from them. But let me read you the article and go through what they're doing. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts on why this is happening. It has to do with Amazon's current structure of their fees and the disadvantage it gives them over Temu. And I want to talk about what this means for third-party sellers like us and the thousands of students that I have. So as you can see here, Amazon plans to discount web store in effort to counter Temu and Shein. Now, Shein has been really dominant in the clothing space for a long time. And as a matter of fact, they secretly made billions of dollars last year, and a lot of people don't even know that. Now, Shein is moving into other categories, and they pose a huge threat to Amazon in the way that they're doing business. And Shein in particular is in a better position than Temu in many ways because they ship goods from within the United States. I know this because I'm looking to expand into Shein, and I've been invited by them to sell my toy brand on their platform. I've also sold on Temu, but that's only because I have a presence in China, and I was able to find a way to get my goods from my Chinese factories directly into their warehouses in China where they fulfilled. Now, they do what's called a 1P model or a wholesale model where they would buy our goods and then inspect them, make sure the quality control was good, make sure that you were getting what you paid for if you were a buyer, and then they would ship from China. This is why they're better than Wish in a lot of ways, because it wasn't the seller fulfilling goods that could ship anything they wanted. And all of those memes around, what you ordered and what you received on Wish. In Temu, they were very strict about the quality of the goods they would receive, the packaging, making sure it matched. They have a couple issues. Their parent company is known for cutting out the margins of the sellers. They're very, very aggressive with making sure that they're the only ones that can make money. So they're known for buying an order from you, and then the next order, they beat you up and say, we'll order again, but only if you can give us a better price. And then the third time they order is again, they'll come in and say, we want a better price. Eventually your margin is gone, and what they'll do is go directly to the factory. So a lot of times they're actually, for Temu in particular, they were actually trying to go directly to the factory, but I had to file lawsuits against some of their sellers who were using our content to try to sell our toys or generic knockoffs of our toys that we have in our toy brand. Back to Amazon's play in this matter, Bloomberg is reporting that Amazon plans to launch an online storefront for low-priced apparel and home goods. The company's biggest move to date to counter the rise of discount upstarts like Temu and Shein. The Seattle-based company plans described in slides posted to websites for third-party Chinese sellers. This is really important because I haven't been invited as a large American seller. So it shows you who they're targeting here. Show Amazon shipping goods directly to customers from China. Now, again, this is more of the Temu marketplace model where they are going to receive the goods, quality control them, and handle the logistics for the seller, more of a 1P or wholesale model. Amazon, which has sought to hold its ground with promises of speedy shipping, 1 day, 2 day Prime, previously encouraged Chinese merchants to use logistics services that concentrate merchandise at US-based warehouses. This is very much true. Now, as a matter of fact, Amazon has strengthened their grip on logistics by causing all sorts of incredible fees over the last 6 months. They've got inbound placement fees. They've got additional warehousing fees, low storage inventory fees, fees for long-term storage. They are really trying to capture the logistics market and force Amazon sellers to use their China-based Amazon Global Logistics. Now, if you use AGL, it does reduce some of these fees, but the AGL cost is also higher than what you could have done it yourself. So the fees now offset that and actually make their service cheaper and more affordable. You don't have the placement fees, and if you can hold it in the Amazon's third-party warehouse, you don't have those placement fees when they do drip feed your inventory in. So they've done everything they can to try to force sellers to use their logistics. Now, a lot of sellers are going the opposite direction. You know what? If you want to charge me to send it into your warehouses and do Prime with you shipping it in a box, maybe I can find a supplier that can put everything into boxes and ship it 1 to 2 day Prime through a program called Seller Fulfilled Prime. Now, Seller Fulfilled Prime, or SFP, is when you qualify by having multiple locations around the United States and you promise Amazon that you can get the goods to the buyers in the same way they do, which is 1 to 2 day shipping for most locations. Now, if you can do that, you can just ship it yourself. Now, with all these additional fees, it's actually become feasible, not only feasible, but profitable to move towards Seller Fulfilled Prime for a lot of goods, especially those that are a little bit larger. So this is an interesting play, and a lot of things have been evolving over the last few months. Now, the new mall will appear in its own section of Amazon's website. Now, this is super interesting. Can you imagine a shopping experience where you, as a seller, have your goods showing up in search results, but Amazon is filtering people who search for your product over to a discount mall to go buy a generic version of your product? That's kind of messed up. I mean, you have to really have a moat on your product design. You have to really be able to back up what you're selling now with higher quality, with branding, with value, with design, because you have to continuously stave off those sellers who are going to be coming at you with the cheap, generic, knockoff crap that they are now encouraging to sell against you. It's a little infuriating if you ask me. So, and they're saying we're always exploring new ways to work with our selling partners to delight our customers. Now, it says selling partners to delight our customers and work with our selling partners. But as a selling partner, I feel like this doesn't do anything for me other than screw me. Like, I didn't see any benefit to those new fees, the placement fees, trying to force me to use the logistics. And I certainly don't see any benefit here because they didn't even advertise this to us. They advertised it only to Chinese suppliers, Chinese sellers, likely trying to go direct to cut the cost. So their way of combating Temu now and Shein is to try to get generic, cheap stuff that people are willing to wait for, and they're going to do it by cutting out, these brands. So Amazon and other U.S. retail incumbents are grappling with the rapid rise of Temu, a unit of PDD Holdings and online fashion retailer Shein, which have lured customers with steep discounts, and Temu's case, a barrage of advertising on television and social media. If you remember, Temu took out a bunch of Super Bowl ads. And Amazon this year began cutting the fees it charges merchants to sell low-priced clothing. That is true. If you were in certain categories, Amazon did begin to start to reduce your fees. Now, here's what I think as far as what this means for Amazon sellers and why Amazon has to do it, and they can't do it within the same ecosystem that they already have. The simple reality is that Amazon has baked in this fulfillment fee into every single product sold on Amazon. That means that as a buyer, you are paying a price for a product that has a seller cost built into it. Now, my cost is not just my cost of goods and my landed cost at Amazon. That would be one thing. It's not just my landed cost plus my commission to Amazon. That would be another thing. What I also have to consider when I consider how I price my product is how much Amazon is going to charge me to take that product off a shelf, put it in a box, package it up, and ship it for me. Now, that is already baked into every single unit that I sell. So if you buy 10 units, you don't get a discount on any of that. As a matter of fact, I don't get a discount or break in my fees for any of that either, like we used to do many years ago. Amazon got rid of that program, which is really ridiculous because it doesn't encourage us to try to sell additional units. It doesn't give us the ability to discount additional units for you, the buyer, which would seems like it would be good for both of us. So I have many qualms with Amazon, and that's those are a couple of the biggest. Now, what I'm thinking is that when Temu, if you've ever bought anything from them, which I did to try it, I bought like 6 or 7 or 8 things from them, just some clothes and some cheap knickknacks. I got like one of those 70% off coupons that they're putting out there to try to get people into their funnel. It's a marketing expense. The cost of customer acquisition or customer acquisition cost is CAC or CAC. And in software and in business, that's a really important metric, how much it costs you to get a customer. And then the next metric that matters most after that is LTV or lifetime value. Now, if your lifetime value, which could be your profit you make from that customer over the life of that customer being a customer, is far more than your customer acquisition cost, then you've got a scalable business. And they must feel that in order to enter the market, they had to acquire a lot of customers. So they spent billions doing that. And I've heard figures in the hundreds of dollars per customer acquisition cost. Now, my point though is that when I bought those 7 or 10 things, they came bundled together, basically wrapped together in a soft packaging, bubble wrap, everything kind of mashed together, taped together, as bundled as tight as possible without damaging the goods, and shipped in one big lump to me at my doorstep. That's because they were able to ship it as efficiently as possible from China and reduce the cost that's distributed for each of those goods. So if I bought 10 goods and it cost them $15, they only paid $1.50 shipping per product or per item all the way from China to my doorstep in Miami. That's pretty amazing because I have to pay more than that to get goods from Amazon. And I have to pay Amazon far more than that to ship my goods when you buy them to your doorstep. So that's a massive advantage. And so what they can do is they can keep that cost of product very low and then charge you the appropriate amount of shipping, even with a margin built into it. And you're still going to be happy because you're still going to pay less than if you shop on Amazon. That's the cold reality of it. Now, what you're giving up by shopping there is going to be the convenience, the 1 to 2 day shipping. What you're also going to give up is the ability to buy certain brands. There are going to be many brands that do not sell on Temu for quite a while, and they're moving in the direction of upstreaming towards well-known brands. That was their game plan of how they entered the Chinese market, and they're going to do the same here. So I know that they're going to try to bring in these larger brands, and they are opening up to American sellers finally, or sellers based in the US. But you have to fulfill your own goods. So let's circle back on everything that's happened now recently and why this is the perfect storm of why Amazon feels they have to make a move. First of all, Temu and Shein can offer goods at a cheaper price because they don't have that fee baked into every single item. They know that they have to charge more. Shein and Temu are going to start offering fulfillment from within the United States. Shein was already doing it. In other words, I'm looking to start fulfilling my own goods prime from within the United States. And if I'm doing that already for Amazon because they forced me to do it with all these additional ridiculous fees, that means I can just sell on Shein. That means I can sell on Temu. Because if I have the ability to sell my goods already and fulfill them already, and Amazon has forced me to gain that skill set and put into place that logistics capability, now I can do it myself to sell on Shein and Temu. So Amazon has inadvertently, by charging us additional fees, emboldened and empowered their competitors. Now they feel like they have to come back at them with this lower price option where they are now playing catch up against Temu with this slower, more generic, only from Chinese sellers or manufacturers this cheaper crap. I don't know really how to say it in order to try to compete. And all this is going to do is further alienate Amazon sellers because, like I said, if you're an Amazon shopper and you're a Prime shopper and you go into a search for a certain product and then Amazon's funneling you to this cheaper thing, what does it mean to us as the sellers? How does that look to us, the people who have spent so much time building up their brand and making sure the quality of their goods are at a certain level, adding additional value, really working on creating intellectual property and designs and design moats and IP moats. And now you can go get a knockoff or a cheap, crappy product from the same website. It's a little infuriating, but this is what's happening. This is what just broke today. I figured I'd share it with you, and that's my analysis. We'll have to see how this plays out. I still think Amazon is a massive opportunity, super disruptable. Most of the sellers on Amazon are not good at Amazon SEO. And so if you are looking to figure out how to do product research, how to do keyword research, how to decide what to sell based on data, how to use AI to make a better product, and how to protect that product, and then how to launch it and design it, all with AI and with solid SEO practices, Seller Systems is the place for you. So we do have a special. Right now, you can save $500 on your Seller Systems Inner Circle membership. That is our college level course. Use code LASTCHANCE500. It expires at the end of the month, and hopefully you catch it in time. Anyway, this is an interesting development. We'll see how it plays out. Don't let it stop you from starting your business or growing your business. This will still be a very valuable marketplace with hundreds of millions of shoppers who will see the value in great designs, great brands. As a matter of fact, I think this will only reinforce the need to become good at design, good at product design, and great at SEO, which are the skill sets that we have and that we teach. This is all for now. Take care, and Prime Day is coming up. We'll talk about it next time.